So hi everybody, and thank you so much for being here this afternoon. I hope you've had a lovely lunch. We thank the Ivy for the lovely venue. My name is Jana Hlistova. I am a sales director at OSF Digital. OSF Digital, for those of you who may not know, we are a global commerce and digital transformation company. We have been a Salesforce partner for over 12 years. And it's an absolute pleasure to have Tony Rimbolt, who is the Director of Sales, and Stephanie Mechanic, who's the Head of Sales for Troy and Caprice, join us today. So thank you very much. We're going to be talking about the Salesforce platform. We're going to be talking about the Salesforce solution. But before we do that, Tony, I'm going to turn to you first. Can you tell us a little bit about the business? So Troy and Caprice, it's a large restaurant group. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of growth in the company. I wonder if you could share a little bit about that.
Well, I'm sure you've all dined at the Ivy or seen the Ivy before. Ivy Collection is part of a company called Troya. So Troya has Ivy and Ivy Asia, but it's all owned by Mr. Kering. So Mr. Kering also owns the Burley Clubs, which is Annabelle's, Mark's, Hand and Bracket, so private, like luxury private members club. And you also have Caprice Holdings, which has some very iconic restaurants for the like of Scott's Mayfair, 34 Mayfair, Bacchanalia, Sexy Fish, etc. So I think we are one of the leader in the hospitality restaurant industry in the UK. And we are expanding in Miami, more in America, and also in Middle East as well. So I think we are definitely one of the most fastest growing business in the UK for sure.
Very exciting. And you're specifically focused on the private dining room aspect.
Correct. So our main job with Stephanie and I is to drive all the sales in our private dining spaces, partnerships, and corporate sales across all our restaurants. It's a huge piece of business for us. We're talking about £30 million turnover business across all our restaurants. So if you talk about that size, it's huge for us. The amount of covers, like for example today, but we've got around 52 IVs, 8 IV Asia, and 9 Caprice restaurants. So for us, it's a huge part of the business. Yes, absolutely. And our job is to drive as much business as we can, whether it's social, corporate, leisure, tourism, and also partnership with third-party industries.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Now, I remember when we had our first meeting. The Alex Bosworth was definitely there with us. And what was really clear was how convinced you were that Salesforce, the Salesforce platform, was your platform of choice. And that was going to be how we were going to implement your solution. Do you want to share why you had such high conviction about Salesforce being the right platform for you?
Yeah. It's obviously prior to going at Caprice and Ivy, I was at Gordon Ramsay for 8 years. And I got introduced to Salesforce by my job at Gordon Ramsay, and I realized how powerful that tool was. And when I took the job at Caprice and Ivy, they were working with Salesforce, but someone in this business had the crazy idea to switch to another product. So when we joined the business in September, I walked in and I was like, "Where is Salesforce now? It's no longer." I was like, "Okay," and we have that temporarily software and. After a couple of weeks with Stephanie, we were like, we just need to move back with Salesforce as quickly as we can. But I think Salesforce was badly implemented back in the days. And I think the way we want to re-implement it and joining force with marketing to create a marketing cloud, it's to invest in technology and to be ahead of the game in this industry that is quite old school in general. And we realized that Salesforce is the best tool out there to make sure that we can deliver what we want to deliver in terms of sales within the next 5 to 10 years.
And I think even when Tony and I, we go back 10 years, we worked together at Gordon Ramsay, and we were using Salesforce Classic, like probably you may consider it the dinosaur version if you look at what's possible now. And I think what's important, and I'm sure a lot of you can all relate, we all use different systems. We all have a different way to take reservations, to event manage, to book spa treatments, etc. And we have all this data stored everywhere, and everyone's trying to find the same solution of how are we efficient? How are we personalized? And I think, even from seeing how Salesforce was back then to all the integrations and all the capabilities, and it's constantly evolving in its roadmap to be able to fit with, I mean, even what you were saying about how cookies is no longer a thing and you're ahead of that game. I think that's super important when you're going to make this big investment in the business. You need to make sure you can carry on with how the industry is going to evolve.
Yeah, absolutely. And something that stuck in my mind that you said, Tony, was there was no question in your mind that your business would become so much more operationally efficient and you would be able to make so much more revenue as a result.
Well, you've said something earlier. Right now, everyone has been asked to do more with less. And when I joined the business in September, my team was working really hard. And there was no question about working hard, but they were not working smart in any way, shape, or form. And I think implementing Salesforce, for me, I will be able to deliver way more with less, using AI, using technology, and will definitely transform that business. And ultimately, it's going to deliver way more sales, because in the private dining industry, I mean, we've got some competitors in the room as well, is some clients, what they want right now is they inquire about 3 venues, who's going to respond the quickest with the simplest offer and be able to book the easiest way. And I think what you need to do now is you need to find technology that help the guests to make the booking journey as easy as possible. Because booking a private dining room, you've got diet requirements, menus, pre-order, table plan. It's quite complex. What can we do right now to understand our guests better, to make the booking journey better, to make the booking process better and the event management process better? And at the end of the day, that will absolutely generate into millions and millions in revenue. Absolutely.
And at the same time, Tony's mentioning how quick you have to be, but you also have to be personable. You also have to have known that so-and-so potentially dined and had their 70th birthday here, and be able to kind of attach that. If you have 5 minutes to make an impression, what will make the difference? So the way we're planning to integrate our marketing cloud, we'll have, we're talking about this 360 single guest view, but that will pop up when someone calls if we can recognize the number. And obviously you have to train your team how to not do it in a creepy way, but you can really personalize the approach, and then that person will always come back because they've made that connection and relationship on top of get what they need and suit their needs. So it's kind of you've got to approach it from both sides there.
But I think right now as well, a lot of businesses, they're looking at saving money and cutting costs, because that's how they see the quick solution. For us, we actually want to take that time to invest and make this business the best it's ever been. There's a lot of people, they made a lot of money around the world when, during war, whatever, because they were investing into businesses that they thought it wasn't the right time to do it, but it's actually the perfect time. And also, the guest mindset and behavior has changed over the last 3 years. And it's time for us to understand their behavior. When do they dine? When do they come to the office? Alex lives very, very far from London. I want to understand how often Alex comes to London, how many times they entertain clients, and when does he need to entertain them, because I want to catch him.
And what notice does he?
The better we have a deal. But the point I'm trying to say right now is understanding our guests is definitely as important as it's ever been. And I think London 5 years ago, the business was there, you could catch one, and that was it. But I think right now it's a much more of a chess game and understanding, where can I be the best in my industry? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And given where your brands are, I mean, we're talking about recognizable brands, very powerful brands. Customers and clients expect a certain customer experience. So it's fundamental that you can actually create that journey with an automated, streamlined solution.
Absolutely. More than ever, guest journey. I mean, we were talking about guest complaint a minute ago.
Yeah.
Guests becoming more and more
demanding.
That's the right word.
We know it well.
So, manage the expectation. Guests, also, they're becoming less and less patient as well. So you need to be as reactive as you can. But there's a lot of things right now that technology is there. It's right there for us. And we just need to find the right way to do it. And I think, working alongside you as Salesforce and our marketing team, we can definitely build something. Because I think right now we've got a Ferrari of a look and feel restaurant group, but inside the engine is very much like what's the right brand? A Fiat 500? I don't know. Is there any Italian? Sorry for that. But yeah, and it's time for us to have the right engine to deliver what we need to deliver ultimately.
And I just want to come back to the other point about operational efficiency and how equally, it's really important that we can build solutions that make it easier for employees, right, to do their job. We don't want people to be leaving because it's just too manually difficult or...
But that's the problem for
Right.
us at the minute.
And transcribing, I think many of you could probably relate in events that you've got all these systems and you've got to copy information from one to another because it kind of just ends there. So you might have your website goes into your event management system and you can book, but then you've got, you've got to do other things, like you've got to book a spa treatment, or you've got to do a pre-order and you have to do it on a Word document or an Excel. And all that manual transcribing, like, it's daunting when an event planner could just be talking to their guests and be like, this is what you filled in. Let's talk through it. Let's meet over a meeting. Let's have a coffee and do the fun part where actually they'll probably upsell. They'll deliver a better service and there'll be no miscommunication. And so what we're looking to do is create that whole integration where, yes, tech is great, but we don't want to create an impersonal approach to planning an event. But we want to put the onus on the client so that there's no errors, and that they fill everything based on pick list options that can then be reportable. So we can tell you, last Christmas we had this many turkeys, and so we better have more than that this year, or that was the most popular menu at this price point, and we're going to pivot our strategy to meet that need. Or we have a repeat client and we don't want to sell them shepherd's pie every time they come to an Ivy. We need to be able to make those decisions. So if it's not stored in one area, how do you even know?
Yeah, that's the... We want to reduce 30% of the admin work from our team. So it's also guest generating revenue, but the admin work on my current team is absolutely crazy. And you talk about, keeping them interested, keeping them in the business, retaining them, etc. So we need to make sure what they do is interesting and it's interactive. And sometimes, like, we've got someone, all this person do every single day is to upload menus into a software. I mean, it's absolutely ludicrous. So we want to remove the admin work by 30%, and that will absolutely transform as well. Yeah, again, they can do something else. They can be selling better. They can be upselling better wine menu, etc. So bring way more quality into our work as well.
Yeah. Even understanding their stats, like right now, for example, if we wanted to tell you, I don't know, like the conversion rate for their team or how many inquiries and the segmentation of where those inquiries are coming. Okay, we can get you the information, but it takes a few spreadsheets, a few filters, and you've got, he needs it now for Mr. Caring. With Salesforce, the dashboards will be, you can customize them and the team want to see, oh, wow, I'm the top performer this week. And it creates an amazing morale. And next week, someone else is going to be the top performer. And yeah, so the dashboard, I mean, that's a basic functionality, but that in itself can motivate a team extremely well. So
yeah. And employees today want to know that you're working with the latest tech, right? And basically, as you say, yeah.
I know how to use Salesforce.
CRM.
I was like, wow.
Yeah, and as a sales team, you want to see what the sales leaderboard is and where you are ranked and how you compare from the week before. So that, again, is a very powerful tool internally.
Even this young generation, they understand tech more than we do.
Yeah.
Sound old, but I'm not old. But the tech is very much part. AI. I'm completely with you on that one as well. I think we need to be on board with that. And how can AI, help us already? Try to be ahead. I think this industry will always do things 5-6 years behind schedule. And I think Stephanie and I, we really want to do things on time or ahead of the game now. That's our main mentality now with this business. And I think Mr. Caring is very much on board to use technology to replace this very old school admin process that we have.
Mm-hmm. And you have, as a group, you have big ambitions. I mean, you're expanding globally. We talked about this briefly. There's a new club that you opened in, is it Mykonos? Yeah. So there's need to have a global...
If you need a restaurant in Mykonos, let us know. Best restaurant in Mykonos. Yeah, we've got Miami, Mykonos, Riyadh coming, Dubai, Manchester, Texas, Las Vegas, and hopefully New York as well. So
you need a global infrastructure.
Yes. But it's another thing, like we've got Sexy Fish Miami, which is one of the highest grossing restaurants in the US. It's been absolutely crazy the last 12 months there. Obviously, Miami is a very up-and-coming market. A lot of people have moved there for tax purposes. So it's obviously lots of tech out there, etc. But the problem right now is we don't know anything about their guests. It's our business. It's fully owned by us. We don't know anything about it. They use different software, etc. So putting Salesforce into place, and our marketing cloud is just going to revolutionize everything. Because you also have so many of their guests coming into London, but we don't know about it. And I think this is, again, something when you open internationally, you need to link all your venues, whether it's, London, Dubai. Dubai, Riyadh is going to be huge as well for us. There's a lot of crossover in sales. A lot of people live in Dubai for 6 months, move to London. But when are they moving? What their customer habit, etc. So all of that will be able to capture this. And yeah, very excited. I can't wait. I mean, we said that early August, yeah?
We say that too. Can't wait.
But very excited.
Yeah, fantastic. My third question is really about how the solution will enable, these important connections that you make with your customers, building relationships. It's all about creating these memorable experiences. And you've touched upon a lot of this, but is there anything else that you'd like to add about how this solution will really help you to drive that unique customer experience or guest experience across the group?
Gosh, I think we touched on a few examples, but I can name some, like our integration that we're going to be doing with our phone system, for example. Now that we'll have, all our open table reservations coming through, and our kind of, we're using a current event management system we will not name, but we'll be able to merge those accounts and understand if that person has dined with us. That could be a corporate client that would need an event at Tower Bridge, but actually lives in Marlow. And so if we were ever to do kind of a targeted communication, and right now sending a newsletter for me is the most daunting task because I don't know who's opted in.
We actually give up doing it sometimes
Yeah.
because it's just too much work.
I have
to
all
make it
these,
happen.
everyone's emailing us because the web to lead, functionality at the moment isn't as slick there with a kind of the way we'll be organizing campaigns. You can opt in at very tasteful times. So we'll be able to have, GDPR compliant data, and it'll be able to be segmented in a way that if we want to send out something, someone's not going to be like, why am I getting this? So that's a kind of cold way to personalize. And, newsletters is kind of your furthest touch point. But then on a phone call, you could have a more relationship-based touch point, and understanding our accounts and where they go. And if they haven't been back in a month, why should they, is it because of X? And we can just gain more insights. So it will help us to build relationships that with the volume that we're doing is almost impossible to maintain in like an everyday kind of meeting block life.
Yeah, that's pretty spot on. But for us, it's for me, my job is all about guest journey. It's all about making the guest feeling that the booking process and leading up to the event. I know we got great restaurants and great food, so I'm not worried about that. For me, it's all about from the inquiry stage to coming into the restaurants is how we can make their journey as sleek as possible, understanding them, whether they are 18 years old or 90 years old, and making sure that they feel like they had the best customer experience ever and the sleekest one, using technology when it's needed. And for our team in particular, it's just to make their life as easy as possible. And I always say, work smart, not hard. And I think for me, putting it in place, that's just going to deliver that straight away.
That's wonderful. I think that's a great point to end on.
It's me start getting £5 million more. So that's probably what I need to do as well. But we keep your sign on that one.
Well, I just want to say it's very inspiring. You've embarked on this digital transformation journey. It's a huge commitment. And, we feel confident, obviously, with Salesforce that it will drive the business outcomes that you're looking for. Right. Well, thank you. Thank you, both of you. And well done on embarking on this very important journey. Thank you. Thank you.